the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Artis?
Here.
Mrs. Boone? Here. Mrs. Household? Here. Mr. Hose? Mr. Kunkel? Mr. McGinnis? Mr. Redmond?
Here. This time we need to approve the agenda.
I would move to approve the agenda, excluding committee reports.
And we need to add generator hookup as an action item tonight. The additional cost for the generator hookup that was left off the agenda, we need to add that.
Okay. Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
And do you support that?
I do support that.
Thank you. Moved and supported to approve the agenda with the noted amendment. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consent agenda. Approved minutes of regular and organizational meeting. Board workshop minutes. Communications, activity report, and approval of bills.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. This time we have an opportunity for comments from the public.
Just wait a minute. Because you can check in the phone, because I got to call in. Just give it a couple minutes.
Move on at this time to administrative reports. Elementary, Mr. Hamilton.
Good evening. As many of you know, school is ever changing, and so are we with our three different options that we're offering students. But our two different options, virtual and in person. But I just want to take this time to thank my staff for all the hard work that they've been putting in, creating our own virtual program with Lake City teachers. We've been working super hard, and I'm super proud of them for what we've accomplished and what they've learned just in these past 3 weeks to provide a very comprehensive virtual program for our virtual students.
Thank you.
Want me to answer this?
Yeah, I guess so. Go ahead.
No, this is a school board meeting.
Okay.
I might trans and go that way for a while now.
Middle school, high school, and athletics, Dr. Heyman.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So where we are in the process, just as a quick rundown, is we have secured pretty good numbers. They do fluctuate. I mean, even today we had 9 more students that want to go virtual, middle and high school. I'm asking Leanne to keep a district-wide look at that so that we're able to plan for that. One of the pieces I would like on your radar is currently we believe we are going to be able to have every student that wants to come to school to be able to do that every day. Okay? We'll reach a threshold though where we are not able to accommodate due to distancing and just staff-wise, where if we have a certain percentage and we're figuring out what that is, but online that wants to come back in person, we're going to max out our rooms, right? And when we reach that threshold, and we're going to communicate this, but when we reach that, we may have to go to a blended approach where kids come 2 to 3 days and then alternate, right? So I just want you to know that with the back and forth, we will very closely determine what that threshold is, when that would need to happen. We'll communicate to parents that that is there, and we might need to move to that at some point, so it's on their radar as well. But Kim and I talked today, we want to give you a heads up that may be something that needs to take place. Addition, when we walk through handbooks, we put our face covering policy in there, which really is as simple as the first time we need to talk to a student, we do just that, ask them to put it back on. The second time, if they persist to tell us that it's an issue, then we walk down our consequences for insubordination, just like we would for any other insubordination issue, leading toward, after persistence, to an opportunity for virtual schooling, right? We talked about that a little bit, but that's the main change that you'll really see. The wording in all of the building's policies is pretty much the same. We wanted that consistency there, just as you, so you have a heads up. I believe that's kind of the main point. I want you to know also that I did reinforce with our athletic teams today the importance of visually distancing and really ensuring that the coaches, the captains, are taking it upon themselves to do that. So hopefully that's taking place. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig, I can answer Steve.
I'm glad
You can be a board member.
Superintendent Ms. Blazek.
Okay, just a few additional updates I want to give you on the Return to Learn plan. Tonight, we will be adopting the official document that goes to the state. You already have a copy of that, which is just like the one that we gave our parents that we approved on Monday, except this has to be in an official document form that goes, you guys will approve this tonight, then it will go to the ISD. They approve it, and then that will get posted online. So that has to be up online by Monday. So this will be the official one, which you, all of the information you've already received on Monday for that. Couple other things. With transportation, I wanted to just make mention that I did not include on our transportation that there is an accommodation form for parents. Let's say you have an elementary child and the parents both work and a student, they would have to be with their high school or middle school student. What they would do is just get an accommodation form, and that elementary child would be able to ride that high school bus. They would have to sit with their sibling in the assigned seat with a mask, and then they would be dropped off at the school. There would not be a latchkey charge for that because that's part of a transportation. So I did clarify that with one of our parents today, and we'll get something out to the parents on Friday. But we will, that has been updated, that's in the process of being updated on our other document that we put out there. In addition, virtual school registration forms are being sent home today. We're going to pretty much have master schedules and staffing hopefully figured out, because really the virtual school was driving a lot of these other issues and what we could do to figure out who we were going to need where, who would be assigned, and so a number of those pieces we're hopefully going to have in place here. Also tonight, besides the COVID plan that has to be approved, we also have all of our handbooks tonight. And really the only additions to these handbooks is the COVID preparedness that we have to do with our staff handbook. There's the FMLA and the forms that they need if they have are going to need to take a COVID leave of absence. That's included in here. I'm going to go over that with staff tomorrow when I do my district meeting with them. Just so all that information will be in here for them with their staff, in the staff handbook, and that will be posted. The same goes for the elementary, middle school, high school. They just, the principals just spoke to that. The only changes to those handbooks are the COVID response that we have to do with the face masks, and those pieces are included in here.
And that's all driven from the state.
That is all driven from the state, and we took all of that language from the preparedness plan that we have and with guidelines from the CDC and our health department. So we're pretty much lockstep with those pieces. The other piece that we have to adopt tonight are the course catalogs. I did not run these off for you, but these are all of the courses that we have in the middle school and high school, as well as elementary, and the grades that they have to take. And so those are listed here. If you guys want copies of that, we can get you those. But these will be posted online probably tomorrow after you approve those. Are there any questions on any of the handbook pieces or any clarification you would like on that?
They're all going to be available on the website.
Yes, yes.
And the Safe Start plan is going to be on the website?
Yes, yes, it already is. that's already up there.
Okay.
I also wanted to just talk a little bit about funding updates. Yesterday, I was on a couple of meetings with legislative updates. Right now, they are still projecting a $700 per pupil cut for this coming next school year. And so we're still waiting on the funding from the state from what the state's going to do, and in addition, what the feds are gonna do. So we don't know where the HEROES Act, that's sitting there, the HEALS Act is sitting there, and so those monies, without knowing when that's coming, we're still sitting in this box of not knowing. I will tell you that as part of our budget and planning at the beginning in June, our staff, the entire district staff, took a 2% concessions cut on their salaries for this coming school year. And so we are hoping that we are not going to have to do that, because that is going to be the first priority that we have here in the district. And I know the board agrees with me that we want to restore salaries, but we are waiting on Lansing and Washington. And so we're really, hopefully we're going to be hearing soon. We'll have to wait and see. Also, the state is doing a new revenue sharing conference, and an additional one that will be August 24th. So I will get some good intel there, but what that does is really just gives a roadmap for the legislators. They're going to tell us, what that does is tells us how bad the Michigan economy is or how good the Michigan economy is. So they will have real numbers by the 24th, so hopefully we'll have some more information there. And then for the community center, just as coming up to Labor Day, we are planning to open up the community center for our public, but we will only have the walking track open at this time, and that will be limited hours due to the number of people that we can have in there and managing the cleaning requirements that we're going to have to do. So that will be coming out prior to Labor Day. Any questions on my report tonight?
Kim, I don't have any questions on your report. You've been keeping us very well informed, but I did have one question for Tim,
Yes.
and we got interrupted by this phone. Yes, but Tim, the one question I have is, I'm just confirming that the MHSAA is going to have a decision made on August 20th as far as fall sports, correct?
They do. The decision that they have promised is they will give us an update as to when competition can begin.
Okay.
I have theories about that. I think that they're buying time to the 20th, and then on the 20th they'll say competition can begin on September 15th, which will buy more time. But that's just my thoughts. So yes.
I'm sure that all the universities are playing heavily into this. I mean,
They
you
are.
already said they're not. They got
Yeah. It's a challenge. I mean, they will have spring football if they can. We can't have spring football.
No.
Because then fall or our spring sports would be getting the bad end 2 years in a row, and that's not going to be a fair thing. So, yeah, hopefully we're hopeful, but we're pragmatic as well.
Right. And the other schools in the ISD are all pretty much in alignment with all that too, as far as holding athletics. Nobody's called.
They have not, no.
It'll all be the same, on the same day.
The Highland Conference will
Yeah,
all be
I think,
together.
like, there's schools downstate that have already called off their fall season.
Right.
That's what Craig's talking about. And no one up here is going to do that because we haven't been affected truly like the schools downstate have.
Correct, because of the phase we're in.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that we're still in alignment with the
Yeah, we sure
ISD,
For sure.
and the other schools are in alignment too, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
All right, moving on to action items. Bond project pay application.
The board has received applications for payment on the bond project. The recommended action is that the board approve the following payments from the bond project fund for the high school. We have Hallmark Construction, Bell Construction, Bauma, Otwell Mobby, and Troon Law.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Sinking fund pay applications.
The board has received applications for payment on the sinking fund. The recommended action is that the board approve the following payments from the sinking fund for Cornerstone, BMO, and Sherwin-Williams.
So moved.
Sorry.
Who moved to support it?
Support.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Authorize the levy of 1.5 mils for the sinking fund.
In 2014, the voters in our district approved a sinking fund that allowed 1.5 mils on all properties. To utilize only what is absolutely needed, the district will levy only 1.5 mils for the 2020 tax collection. The recommended action is that the board authorize the levy of 1.5 mils on all properties for the 2020 tax collection.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on that?
Just a reminder, this is the last year of that levy.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 4, authorize the levy of 18 mils for operating.
In August 2020, the voters in our district approved a 2-year renewal of the allowed 18 mills on non-homestead and non-qualifying agricultural properties. The recommended action is that the board authorize the levy of 18 mil for operating on non-homestead and non-qualifying agricultural properties for the 2018 to 2020 tax collection.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 5, authorize the levy of 3.8 mils for the bond project debt fund.
In May 2016, the voters in our district approved a bond proposal that allowed 4.7 mils on all properties for the addition and renovation of the elementary and middle and high school buildings. To utilize only what is absolutely needed, the district will levy only 3.8 mils for the 2020 tax collection. The recommended action is that the board approve the levy of 3.8 mils on all properties for the 2020 tax collection.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 6, state aid operating notes resolution.
Due to the timing of the receipt of state aid and tax revenues, it is anticipated that the district will have a need to borrow funds for cash flow purposes. The board received a copy of the resolution, draft note, and solicitation for bids from district's legal counsel. The recommended action is that the board adopt the state aid operating notes resolution authorizing borrowing for $1.2 million as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 7, approve COVID-19 preparedness and response plan.
Per the Governor's Executive Order 2020-142, school districts are required to adopt a preparedness and response plan explaining how they will protect students and educators across the various phases of the Michigan Safe Start Plan. The recommended action is that the board approve the COVID-19 preparedness and response plan.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Administrators' contracts.
At the board workshop on August 10th, the board reviewed the proposed administrative contracts. The recommended action is that the board approve the extension of the administrator contracts through June 30th, 2022.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Approve student handbooks and discipline policies.
The board has received copies of each school's student handbook, including the associated discipline policies. The recommended action is that the board approve the elementary school, middle school, high school, and preschool handbooks, including the associated discipline policies as presented. I will tell you that I don't have the preschool handbook, so we're going to take that out. So that it will be the board approving the elementary school, middle school, and high school handbooks, including the associated discipline policies as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Approve course catalogs.
The Michigan Department of Education requires that the board approve the course catalogs at the high school, middle school, and elementary. The recommended action is that the board approve the course catalogs for each building as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on that? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 11, approve employee handbooks.
The board was presented with a copy of the 2021 employee handbook to be distributed to new and current employees. The recommended action is that the board approve the 2021 employee handbook as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay,
Number 12,
number 12,
approve generator hookup
to high school.
to high school kitchen.
As part of our disaster relief plan, we will need to wire the generator to our high school kitchen in order to provide meals for community in need. The recommended action is that the board approve the additional costs to wire the generator to the high school kitchen. I put a not to exceed of $30,000 because we still have to turn that over and have them do some work, but I put a not to exceed of $30,000. It's not going to be that much.
And what funds will pay for that? Yeah.
This will be out of bond. Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Support. Oh, sorry.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Other items, board committee meetings and next regular board meeting are listed there. Wednesday, September 9th at 7 o'clock in the elementary cafeteria. At this time, we have an additional comments from the public opportunity.
Now, the board meeting, if it's virtual again,
It'll be here.
it'll be here, right? So just if it's regular, it'll be.
Calls, Tim.
We are adjourned. Thank you.